Hey friends, Katie here, and today I want to talk about the Xenogenesis series by Octavia Butler. I was thinking about breaking this up into a couple of reviews, but instead I think I might just tell you a little bit about the series as a whole, because I think that the second and third books are books you really need to go into, coming from the first book, but with really no idea where they're going. I really enjoyed that. I had no idea what was going to happen, and I think that that was a better reading experience for me. And in general, I don't want to give too much away about the first book, because I think exploring the world that Octavia Butler wrote and the interesting and complex relationships between all of the characters, it was just such an adventure, and I really enjoyed it. I guess that's kind of where I'm starting out. I absolutely love this series. I think I gave the first two books 4 stars and the last book 5 stars because I absolutely adored the last book. It was wonderful. So this series is kind of tied in with the story of Lilith. Lilith in this book series is a woman who's been awakened by a race called the Oankali, who have found a bunch of humans that somehow survived the apocalypse. So these humans that survived were brought to their ship and kind of put into stasis. And then they kind of started working with them and seeing what was going on, what they were like, what they could get out of them, basically. And Lilith is the person that they choose to awaken other humans and get them into life with the Oankali. It's really complicated because Oankali are really weird, and when I think of them, I actually think of Daleks from Doctor Who, which isn't accurate at all, but because they sound so big and lumbering, that's what I think of. In reality, they're supposed to be somewhat humanoid shaped, but they have weird arms, and the third gender, which is called Uloi, they have sensory arms, and they use the sensory arms to reach into people and manipulate their DNA and stuff like that. And they use that to heal people as well. And so they're kind of an interesting race, and I'm sorry if I have left the impression of the Daleks with you when you read this, if you choose to read it. But I kind of wanted to express how different they are. They have tentacles, and they don't necessarily have the same shape. Their body parts aren't in the same places. So they're very different, and that's kind of the crux of the first book, which talks a lot about what happens when humans are faced with a race that is completely different from them, that they can't find anything to relate to with. The Oankali are kind of like the Borg on Star Trek. So if you know about that, you know that basically the Borg fly around the galaxy looking for species to absorb into their collective. And the Oankali aren't quite as threatening. They want to trade, so they want to mate with humans and kind of get the good things that they can get out of them and help humans live longer, better lives, basically. But because they're so different, people are completely revolted by them. And I think that's something that's really important in this series, is just how hard it is for the humans to adjust to even interacting with the Oankali at all. So that's really the basis of the story and kind of the jumping off point. Lilith is an incredible, strong-willed, fascinating, stubborn character, and you begin by kind of rooting for her to somehow break free of the Oankali or something. I don't have many complaints about the series. It wasn't really hard to follow. It was a fun read, a compelling read. One thing that I saw Rachel at Colonnati say is that it's very heteronormative, which is definitely a thing. It's just that the men in particular are very scared about mating with other men or people who kind of present that way. There's kind of a lot of underlying homophobia. So that's kind of frustrating, but at the same time, something that happens when the Oankali wake up the humans is you're seeing the worst parts of humans. And something that they talk about is the human fatal flaw, which is that they're intelligent, but they're hierarchical. And a lot of time is spent on the part of the Oankali considering how they can get rid of this thing that humans feel the need to do, in terms of forming hierarchies and forming classes. Theo and Kali are all equal, they're all on the same level, and they make decisions together, and that works really well for them, but that's not how we're built, basically. So I think if you're looking for something very different, but unique and compelling, this is a great book for you. But if you feel uncomfortable with maybe, I don't know, alien sex, pass. There are a lot of things in the book that might make you uncomfortable, but it's kind of interesting to see how you approach that as you make your way through the book series. Anyway, I really enjoyed this series. I can't wait to read more work by Octavia Butler, and I hope that you will leave a comment below if you read the book series, or if you're thinking about reading the book series, or if you have any recommendations based off of the series, because that's something that I'm definitely interested in. And I think that's about it. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.